Are we recording?
Yeah, we've been recording
okay.
the entire, like all those things about Netflix and getting fired.
We've been recording since then?
We've been recording.
Oh my God. Do not put that on the
No,
podcast.
I won't. I'll cut that out.
So to get ready for the show today, this being our first show, I was researching the episodes to kind of catch up on maybe what I've missed or trying to recall because we went on break for how long?
It's been a while. Sorry, I don't know how to move my head around these things. The last episode, December 9th, so it's been just over a month. Yeah,
which I honestly hate this break during the holidays. I understand that you don't get that many ratings or whatever the deal is with commercials and other shows, but I can't stand the break.
I love
the break. It drives me nuts.
I love the break because then I can catch up on the 73 shows that are on my DVR.
That's true. But I don't have that many shows myself.
Well, that's when I take the break to go binge watch Making a Murderer.
Mine is First 48.
Nice. Have you watched Jessica Jones?
No. I've been meaning to.
You have to.
But like I said, my time is limited, and I dedicate it to those 2 or 3 shows that I watch, and one of them is Supernatural. So I was looking at this list of episodes, and number 11 and 12. 11 is Into the Mystic.
That hasn't aired yet.
Why am I seeing it on here?
Well, I'm sure because they've already named the episodes.
January 16th. Oh, my Lord.
You're thinking you missed episodes.
So then that's why I guess I didn't realize that I hadn't seen them.
Next week is episode 10.
The Devil's in the Details. So I guess they're doing...
Next Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so no wonder. That's why I felt like I hadn't seen the episodes.
But now you know what's going to happen on them because you read the descriptions.
Well, I mean, it's very vague.
What's coming up in the next episode? Well, what's happened so far? What do we know?
Well...
Because I do forget what happened a month ago.
Well, it first started out with the Sam leaving off and Dean, where the darkness had been unleashed in the car.
Yeah.
So they did those couple first 3 episodes where they did it from different versions, which I thought was really cool when they did it from the Cars version.
That was so weird. I love that.
From the Cars point of view, that was so cool. I thought that was
super fun trivia. Did you know that our last episode, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, was the first episode of the season not to have the Impala in it at all?
Wow. Well, that's a shame.
This is what I'm saying.
So they left off and they did the different versions so you could get what Dean had seen, what Sam was going through in the car, and the darkness was released, which I totally feel that this relationship with the darkness and Dean is so strange.
Yeah, well...
She has like that MILF quality going on for sure, and then the super low cleavage, which is hard to resist as a guy no matter what. She could be a hag, but if she's showing you a little bit of cleavage, you're going to pay attention to her. But I don't understand the relationship. Like, what's the attraction? I guess it's more of a supernatural attraction that he can't resist.
Well, yeah, he released her. She saved him. It's a thing.
I guess it's a thing, but I mean...
they have an attraction
out.
The same way that Sam has an attraction to Lucifer.
You think so?
Sam
I don't think he has an attraction.
Sam can't get away from Lucifer if his life depended on it, which it does.
Which Lucifer is totally is a creep in this show, and we'll get to that later on because I want to talk about those messages that Sam was getting the entire season, which I thought were really from God.
Why? We know God left them a long time ago. God gave up.
Do you remember? I just realized that we have not even introduced ourselves. We started talking. We're going off on Supernatural, and no one knows who the fuck we are.
I don't know who the
we're
fuck
like,
we are.
Who are these guys talking?
My bad,
This is like the worst podcast I've ever heard in my entire life.
You act like there's anybody who doesn't know us listening.
Yeah, well, that's kind of actually the scary thing, that maybe people will listen and be like, oh my God, I never knew there were such a big nerds talking about the Supernatural.
We're not the biggest.
Are they talking about ghosts? Anyways, so let's get...
Now we got sidetracked.
Yeah, we're gonna go out talking about... My name's Eric.
I'm Heather.
And we're huge Supernatural fans. And I guess, what else do you say? I've never done this before, so I guess, hi?
Hi. Yeah. Hey, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at Get the Salt Pod. All of our social media accounts, so you can follow along with us there.
I just figured out how to tweet and Twitter and all that stuff.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I just learned how. Facebook I'm pretty good at, and I've never used Instagram.
Facebook you're good at now that it's all soccer moms on there and everybody else is left.
I could create one hell of a meme. Is that what you call them? So yeah.
So he's Eric. I'm Heather.
That's it.
Hi. Okay.
Let's move on. Carry on our wayward
Stop
podcast.
It. No.
Right. So many seasons ago, when they finally killed the demon that killed Sam and Dean's mom.
Yeah, Yellow Eyes.
Yellow Eyes, right? When there was that big explosion, when the gates of hell opened and released all the demons.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that? How did they get from being on that ground to in the plane when they got jumped into the plane with the 2 open seats in the airplane? Who did that? I think that was God. I think God saved them.
But back at that point in time, the Winchesters were not known throughout the paranormal universe in heaven and hell like they are now.
Well, God is all-knowing, almighty, and
God
omniscient,
gave a crap
and
about them then, but
omnipotent.
doesn't now.
Maybe he knew what was going to be happening.
Now he's tired of them always bringing about the end of the
world.
world.
I don't know if it was cleared up, whether it was an angel. I don't think that was ever cleared up how they got into that plane. Do you remember? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I remember, but I don't remember if it was ever cleared up or not because I didn't have that question.
I feel that was God. That was God saved them, and he knew that maybe they had a higher purpose, or they were going to do all these great things, or horrible things too, and saved them. I think that's what happened. So I think that for me, that has kind of been the back of my head through all these seasons. The fact that somebody saved them, something supernatural with, pretty big powers in order to do that. That for me could have been God whispering to Sam, giving him those thoughts and those dreams or whatever. And then I was very, very disappointed to find out that it was the devil.
I don't know. I've always just thought, oh, God went away. He got bored with his creations or got annoyed with them because
you think so?
They are too much of a pain in the ass, and he wandered off.
Yeah, it's hard to think about that, especially nowadays when you see all these horrible things happen in the world. You're like, oh, there's no God going on in here. So the show maybe is kind of like, alluding to that. I just don't see how he could just leave. And leave everybody to their own thing. What kind of asshole is God? If you think about it,
God is an asshole. That's the kind of asshole that he is.
What? If God is that big of an asshole, do you really want to meet him?
How long did he stick around? No, I don't. But how long did he stick around? He had to have stuck around for quite some time.
Well, according to some of the angels, I forgot when he stopped talking to them. I can't remember exactly when they said God stopped talking to us. But that was one of the things where I think he was really up to, let's say, maybe sending Lucifer down to hell. Maybe that was the ending point. Because after maybe the war with the angels and all that, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you when it was the last time that he spoke to them, but he definitely is an asshole for sure.
Yeah, that's settled.
But you know what's going to happen though, in my opinion, that everybody that the darkness killed, because I feel like, especially in Supernatural, they kill off people so fast. There's murders and people getting killed.
Yeah. The
scene where the preacher's out there preaching to everybody, and then darkness brings hell and lightning and thunder and kills everybody that's in front of that preacher, spreading the gospel or the word. How can you justify just killing all those people? But what's going to happen is God's going to come back at the end of the show and bring everybody back, save everybody. He's going to bring back maybe not the mom and dad, but the guy's name Bobby.
Also, spoiler alert, we're going to be seeing him this season.
I love this character.
I don't know if it's in flashbacks or it probably will be in flashbacks because Bobby and Rufus are going to be appearing in an episode this season coming up.
I loved Bobby's character. I loved him, and I was so pissed off when they killed him off. And then they mess with your brain because they kill him. They had to go to a rescue mission to hell to get him out.
Mm-hmm.
Then they save him. Then they send him to heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go and find him in heaven. You think that's the end of Bobby, but he continues. He continues.
Well, and how is it fair that he doesn't get to come back even once? How many times have Sam and Dean each come back?
That's why I always feel like no one's ever really dead on their show. I'm still hoping for some of the other main characters to come back. The Asian prophet, I forget his name. Kevin. I hope he comes back. That was a big sad one.
Yeah.
The hacker chick.
Charlie. Played by Felicia Day.
I love Felicia Day.
She's got she's doing the new Mystery Science Theater.
Really?
Yeah, so she's got some work going on. I don't think she needs to come back.
First time I ever saw her was on the YouTube show The Guild.
Yeah, I love The Guild.
Yeah. She totally has like an ugly face, but totally hot at the same time.
It's kind of harsh.
It's weird. She has a strange face to me, but she's kind of like hot at the same time. It's very strange. It's like a love-hate relationship.
Does she not show enough cleavage for you?
No, I don't need to see cleavage. I just feel like I spent the entire episode every time I saw her on Supernatural, I spent the entire episode just like looking at her face. I didn't pay attention to the show. I was like, is it her teeth? Is it her nose? But is it not really? I don't know. It just threw me off. Anyways, I do like her. So I feel like they should bring her back somehow, or almost like God's gonna bring back all these super characters that died off, and they're gonna fight the darkness all together, almost like that kind of
you know
deal.
what I think? God doesn't come back until the series is over.
Like that's gonna be the series finale.
Like that has to be the series finale. Is God returns?
Does God have a body?
God is Alanis Morissette. That's as far as I've gotten in this scenario.
Yeah, I could totally do Alanis Morissette for that. So from then, when they released the darkness, then the darkness disappeared, and then we find out that there's people getting zombified by some, I guess, black goo or something that touches them, and then there's the baby.
Yes.
The baby that's is, I guess, the darkness's baby version, or the darkness's physical form, and she has to develop.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing. I don't understand why the darkness was a full-grown woman, or was that just a vision to Dean?
Yeah, I think that was
just a vision to Dean.
I think that was a vision. I think that was an actual physical form, because I don't think the darkness, I mean, humans hadn't even been created when the darkness was locked up, if you think about it.
Oh,
you know,
I never thought about that.
What kind of physical form could she even think about? God hadn't created the earth. He had just locked her up or whatever. And maybe that was, so Dean sees women, you know, all the time. And maybe the darkness taps into his mind and kind of shows Dean what it is that he wants to see the most. Maybe that's like the physical attraction. Maybe that's
she would have been Asian then.
That's true. That's one of his bigger things. Maybe that's the porn he watches, but maybe not so much his ideal woman.
Yeah,
you know?
Who was the woman? Because we had a season where he had a normal life for a hot second.
He did.
During one of the times Sam was dead.
He tried, and he had the little kid, like the makeshift son, and it didn't work out. I can't remember what she looked. I mean, that was so many episodes, and I know we're in the future we're gonna go back and visit some of the older episodes when the show's on break. So I can't wait to actually go over and kind of relive everything and see these people, because then one of the things like that's happened to me as well is like as you go through the show, you start seeing things that you would avoid, and you start actually thinking yourself as Sam and Dean, and like, oh no, you don't go there. And make sure you bring this, and this, and make sure you have this backup, and don't do that. So I feel like if I watch the old episode, I'm like, oh, these noobs are gonna go out there and they're gonna get their ass whooped, and I know it's gonna happen, but I'm gonna have to hold my tongue. So anyway, so the baby comes out, and obviously in that show, you knew that was gonna be the darkness.
Yeah,
there was something special about that baby.
Yeah.
And when she popped out with that mark on her shoulder, you're like, oh, of course.
Yep.
That's the demon baby. So after that, Rowena. Let's talk about Rowena.
I love her.
See, my wife loves Rowena
she
and
is my
the
spirit
job
animal.
she does on there. But that accent, I feel is like so over. Is that a natural accent, or does she do that accent?
I don't know. Ruth, who plays her? Ruth, something. I can look it up.
So Ruth.
This whole show is going to be me Googling all these questions we have.
Yeah, we're lack of some memory issues here, I guess, for me especially. I mean, I guess some people like her. I personally think she's way overacting, and that accent is so overdone. It bothers me. It bothers me so bad. I mean, Crowley, I think his accent is actually legit. I think he actually has a British accent?
Mark
he does?
Sheppard?
Yeah. I think Crowley does a good job, and I'm probably going to be referring to a lot of these characters as their actual characters' name, because I can't remember their actual their real names.
They are real to you.
Heather is the expert at that. That's all. I'll leave that up to her. Maybe eventually I'll remember their names. And then when I found out what Sam and Dean's real names were, I was like, what the heck, man? That was like the weirdest names.
I love it.
Jensen? Have you ever met anybody named Jensen in your entire life?
No, but I love the episode where they crash through the window and they go into a different universe where they're taping Supernatural, and Dean is like, I'm Jensen. My name is Jensen Ackles, and you're something called a Jared Padalecki.
Yeah, that was great. That was
Ruth Connell is her name, and she is Scottish.
Oh, so she is
So
Scottish.
that's probably
Do you
quite
think
real.
she overdoes her Scottish accent? Like
Maybe.
if you're American, do you go into like that country accent? If you go, hard into it. I just feel like she kind of overdoes it. Even her being as awesome or badass as she is, and as evil, I always feel like she has a good side to her that she hasn't shown yet. And she's tried killing her own son. She's tried killing everybody she's met.
She had that one guy because you had to kill something you loved to get that spell to go through to whatever when they were with the Book of the Damned. And remember, they found that guy working in that little diner that she had saved and watched out and made him immortal and whatnot.
Right.
And she killed him.
Yeah. No,
I think she'll kill anything.
She's a cold-blooded killer, but I just feel like she might come to she might help for her own benefit, of course, not for anybody else. But I feel like she has a good side. I don't know why. So then from there, she goes off to mess with our homeboy, Castiel.
Yeah.
She curses him, which I understand he's an angel, but that curse is supposed to kill you. And he has the powers to help him not go over the edge, and he kind of, I guess, weaned himself off the curse. Because they never uncursed him, did they? I think she was forced to take the curse off.
Yeah.
By Sam and Dean.
Yeah.
Later in a couple later episodes, but she went off, and then Castiel almost kills Crowley, stab him in the back, and his little red smoke, which I think that's really cool that they differentiate the King from Hell with his red smoke versus a regular demon with their black smoke. Or, that for me is like, okay, that's pretty cool. So they kill Crowley and then find out later that he didn't die, and eventually comes back to his body after a while. After that, you start seeing the girl start growing up.
I loved the scenes of Crowley trying to raise the darkness.
Yes.
Like, put her in timeout. Are you eating your vegetables? Like, Crowley as a dad, adorable.
I just felt like the darkness has the intelligence of like a full-grown person. I don't think she was ever had the mindset of a child.
Right.
So I think from the very, very beginning, she was kind of letting him do whatever he wanted to do and kind of went along with it, knowing that she could at any time take over.
She was always in control, always.
One of the things I'm a designer. You're a designer. We do our thing. How do you feel about the effects? Now, sometimes the effects are great. How do you feel about how she ate souls? I always felt that was so undramatic. If someone's going to eat your soul, wouldn't it be more of like a show, I guess, or something more dramatic? Or did you like the subtle?
It wasn't in the budget.
It was. I just felt like it was so subtle.
We had to buy 37 Impalas. It wasn't in the budget.
Worst graphics of the show ever when they had those the monsters that ate people from the what's the world in between heaven and hell?
Purgatory.
The
Leviathans.
The worst graphics ever. It was kind of like.
Can I tell you one of my favorite
Stephen King's movie, The Langoliers?
I love that. One of my favorite relationships of all time on the entire series is Dean and who was his Leviathan BFF?
Oh my gosh, Leviathan BFF.
Or vampire BFF?
Oh yeah, the dude that he met in Purgatory.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. Yes.
I loved that. Now
that was
I have
cool.
to go look up who that guy was.
Yeah, that guy was cool. And then he ended up saving, or I guess sacrificing himself later on for Dean. Yeah, he was a great character. So for me, the effect of like the soul sucking kind of was like underwhelming, and it just felt like it was like whatever. Let's just have her do that instead. No like gut wrenching, stick your fingers in the body, or let's drag your soul out. I just feel like the soul sucking is so underwhelming.
They had to do it so many times because that's how she ate and grew. That really, if you're going to make a big production out of it, and then you see it 3 or 4 times every episode for this arc of 6 episodes while she's growing, that's too much.
Yeah, I guess so. And then he started running out of demons to feed her. He's like, "Sir, you can't feed her anymore, guys. We're running out of people. Where's this guy? Oh, you killed him last week."
Crowley needs to head up to the crossroads and just like get a few more souls down there.
Yeah, man. I mean, come on. Like he started just sending his own people out there, which I thought was kind of again. I just see Crowley as like a good guy sometimes. When he had that pal around with Dean, they were like best friends. They had that bromance going on. Now I feel like Crowley. What's keeping Crowley from killing Sam and Dean? And I think he just has a love affair with Dean. He loves that guy. He thought he was like the coolest guy ever, and they had a great time together. So I feel like again, Crowley has the same feeling I get from Rowena, where I feel like he has that good in him. He could just turn back, and then he had that whole scene where I just want to be loved when they started putting him into giving him the dead man's blood.
Right. I don't know. I think Crowley, absolutely. I consider him a good guy. I consider him on the team, but Rowena, I don't think so.
So a couple episodes after that, then they have like those monsters of the week, and then one of actually I didn't think I was gonna like this episode, the imaginary friend episode.
That was probably, I think that's the best episode of the season.
His childhood friend
far.
Sully.
That was brilliant, and Nick Swartzen, right?
That's not Nick Swartzen.
Who was that?
It's a fat guy who looks like Nick, because I know Nick Swartzen got fat.
That was not Nick Swartzen? Who was that?
I thought the exact same thing, but that was not Nick Swartzen. I thought the exact same thing. I said,
Nate Torrance.
Yeah, I thought the exact same thing, because Nick Swartzen used to be skinny, and then he got famous and gained a little bit of weight. But it was not him. It was not him.
It was Nate Torrance.
That episode.
I'm sorry to both Nate and Nick.
That episode was one of those episodes where I thought I was going to hate, but ended up loving the episode.
That was so brilliant.
So,
and kind of like heart-wrenching.
So it was.
For like to see Sam and how he was treated as a kid. And you understand half the stuff that's wrong in the head with him.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You totally understand it, and that why he even needed an imaginary friend at that time, being alone all the time with his brother and his dad going off, which, shame on the dad, for sure. Shame on the dad.
And I still think Dean has a lot of that in him, where he's off doing the things and, Sammy's the one back home. Like, Sammy's not part of the team. Like, he's in charge of Sam.
He's a B squad. Like, he's not on the A team. Dad and Dean are on the A team, and then guess what? They need someone to go pick up some salt and some dead man's blood. You'll call Sam. He'll come over there and get it for you. He's back at the hotel waiting. So 2 things I loved about the episode. One was the glitter blood.
Yeah.
How cool was that? I was like,
so cool.
That's the attention to detail that I love from this show. That the character, what was the name of the first imaginary friend? I think it was called Glitter or something like that, or Glitter Pony, or I can't remember the name of the glitter pony, but the glitter blood, I was like, wow, what an attention to detail. Second thing I loved about the episode, the scene when they Sam and Dean come in with Sully and they see the murder scene of the imaginary friend. Mm-hmm. But they could see it because they were allowed to, right?
Sully helped them. It's Sparkle, not Glitter. Sparkle.
Sparkle, right? So they go to Sparkle's murder scene, and they could see it because Sully gave them the power to see imaginary people. But then the mom of the little girl comes in, and she's
just
moving around stuff,
moving it, and wipes it on her face.
That was one of the funniest things. And she's just sitting there, what's going on? And then you see all their faces like, oh my God. Oh, you should probably take a bath after this, like you and the whole family. That was one of the best things. I mean, it was one of those episodes where I feel like they kind of like are throwing it away, like, oh, this is a filler episode or one of those jump the shark type episodes. But it ended up for me being one of the coolest episodes, like very cool, a cool idea that I thought was going to bomb. But for me, I loved.
Absolutely. I think that's the best episode of the season. And we barely dealt with the season arc in that episode at all whatsoever.
Right. Sometimes you do need a break.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need that break from that storyline because it does get a little bit overwhelming. And for me, the drama sometimes gets me stressed out. So I get stressed out, and then I'm like, oh, okay, fine. I'm going to relax this episode.
You know it's not real, right?
I know. You get invested into these shows, and you get stressed out. You start and get excited for the next episode coming out. You cry when the series, or sorry, the season finale happens. You know you're not going to have the show for quite a while, and then I got to watch the next the first 48, like 100 episodes of that. I'm a big fan of also the stuff on Discovery Channel, like Alaskan Bush People and Alaskan Wilderness. I love all those shows. I feel like in a past life I was a caveman of some sort, but I can't start a fire, which turned out to be true. So after that, the demon baby starts growing up. She gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah,
and we go through a bunch of Monster of the Week episodes where they're kind of tracking her as she's collecting all these souls to grow.
Fast forward a little bit, we get to where she meets the guy who's at the town center, and he's preaching and issues a challenge to God, saying, I'm going to kill all these people if you don't do anything. And then she strikes everybody down. Angels are like, what the hell's going on with this chick?
Well, because at this point, she doesn't know that God has abandoned everybody, right?
I think I think she knows. Like,
well, when she first did that, she was like, why doesn't he answer? Because I don't think she knew then. I think she knows now. But I don't think she knew right then.
Well, I think right then, it was kind of her last, like, all right, I've had enough. I've been killing people. I've been taking souls. I've been trying to reach you. I've been trying to pray. I've been trying to contact you. If you don't do something now, I'm going dark side, and I'm going to destroy what you've created.
Yeah.
And I think that's the challenge. And then Dean comes in, and she takes Dean away, starts having a little conversation about, what she's all about, God being her brother. And
yeah, that was a plot twist I did not expect.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, whether brother or sister is the right word, I don't know. Maybe I don't understand how much more powerful God can actually be. Can this darkness actually create stuff? Like, we haven't seen her full power, because a lightning strike is like mediocre. But can you create life? Can you create a planet? Can you create a universe? I don't know how powerful she is compared to God, but I feel like God could totally whoop her up.
Well, we found out coming to the very end of it that God needed Lucifer's help to lock her away.
I mean, but God seems to be using people a lot.
That's what God does, because as we learned earlier, God is an asshole.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things, and then the incredible attack from the angels. Angels ganged up, organized, and did this lightning or celestial beam from heaven to try to take her out.
Mm-hmm.
And do we see what happens? So did she survive that? I don't remember if she gets out of that. They actually show her getting out of the...
They don't show her, because the last time we see her in the final episode before the break, she
gets hit by
tells, Dean that she was wronged by her brother and goes through all of this, and she kisses him instead of consuming his soul, which is what everybody thought was going to happen. And then, that's when the whole sky goes crazy, and she's like, the full force of heaven rains down on her. And then we go back to another scene with Rowena and Sam and Lucifer.
You ready for a fan theory?
Never get back to her.
You ready for a fan theory?
Do it.
My fan theory is Sam and Dean are almost like Harry Potter and Voldemort, where they're connected.
Voldemort.
Whatever. They're connected, and she can't do anything to Dean, and she has to make sure Dean's protected, because if anything happens to him, she might either get weakened, lose her powers, or even die. What do you think about that?
So, as we know from, I love that theory, because as we know from the last 5 or 6 seasons of Supernatural, every season is just Sam and Dean trying to fix whatever they fucked up before.
Right.
Like this season, we're trying to fix the darkness, which we got when we were trying to fix the Mark of Cain, which we got when we were trying to fix something else. So I love that theory. We're going to kill Amara, so Dean's going to die, and then the next season's going to be trying to fix that.
Well, almost. I mean, is that going to be, or are they going to find out from the Book of the Damned that the person who opened, who let darkness free, has to sacrifice themselves, and Dean finds out that he has to sacrifice himself, and he kills himself in order to either weaken or kill darkness. I mean, get to the point where is your sacrifice worth anything anymore?
Exactly.
Is this you did it once?
Just quit causing so much damn trouble, and you wouldn't have to.
Yeah. So one of the things that I've always, from day one, hated about the two brothers is they don't have any communication.
Nope.
Zero communication. They have their own little secrets, their own things. You would think that they're fighting angels, demons, all sorts of mythical creatures, vampires, werewolves. That barrier of communication would have been broken by now. Let me know everything you're going through so I can help you.
Right. After all their heart-to-hearts, and every time something goes wrong and somebody has to save the other one and somebody tries to sacrifice themselves for the other one, they never learn their lesson. Never. They never learn.
So Sam...
Hey, dude, this is what I'm thinking. Well, of course, the first time Sam does this season is when he finally does tell Dean, hey, I think I'm having visions from God.
And tell him you're hallucinating.
Yeah, and Dean's like, nope, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
We're done. And I'm like, if I were Sam, I wouldn't tell him shit either.
Well, that's true, because when he started getting those visions, I immediately thought, go tell Dean. Go tell him what's going on, and maybe that's going to help you guys out. And he held it in for a while, but he eventually broke, and then Dean's like, shut up. God's not around. He's not giving you any messages, which apparently turns out to be true.
Don't tell Dean. He doesn't need to know.
No. So they end up having the idea to go visit the devil. They get Crowley and Rowena to help them bring down that cage or whatever that cage is.
Lucifer's cage.
Which I sometimes, when they had that scene in hell, like, where exactly is this cage in hell?
I don't know. It's just like kind of suspended in darkness. I don't know.
Yeah, was that an elevator that they had to pull doan? I don't. Maybe it was a magical, like the incantation they did, and they brought it down from somewhere where you can't reach. Who knows? Again, those are the things I never explained that you kind of wonder. Which I wonder is like, what was the size of that room? What's farther in there? What is that dark area? Was that a special thing God made? I don't know. Is that a universe? Who knows? So Sam goes by himself. Please tell me why, for the love of the absent God, of the asshole God, do you go by yourself? Why don't you bring Dean? Why do you not wait for him?
Well, because Dean called him stupid.
You're there with the most badass witch, and the devil, and you go by yourself, a normal human guy who can't, he can't throw a two-piece on a regular guy and without getting beat up. Come on. Why don't you take your brother?
Because that is not what the Winchesters do. The Winchesters are dysfunctional.
I mean, incredible. That's the last thing. And guess what? Then he's got to explain to Dean, oh, Dean, I was trying to make sure that you were okay and I didn't want to get you involved. I'm like, come on, man. That bothers me so much. And then on top of everything, of course, he gets stabbed in the back by the witch, Rowena, and he gets tossed in the cage.
There's nothing redeeming about her. Despite what you feel.
I still feel like there's something. She's going to prove her worth later on.
We got to put money on this. I don't think she's worth anything.
I have a good feeling about her. So he gets, I guess, teleported or something into the cage. And he's, face to face with the devil. And the devil tells him that the only way for me to help you defeat darkness is for me to possess you again in your body. Does Sam go through with it?
I don't know.
Because the last scene of Sam is him like almost pissing his pants, so scared he was.
Yeah, but I don't think it's whether Sam will go through with it. I think the question is will Dean let him? Because Dean's going to bust in, and we know from.
Wait, how does Dean get down there?
Well, I don't know, but I know that we're going to be finding out in this next episode that's going to be airing when the second half of the season starts. We see.
All right, so this is a short description of that episode.
Dean and Castiel in the cage with them.
That it says here that episode 10, the devil's in the details. Sam is in the cage with Lucifer. He's trying to find a way out, but Lucifer's telling him, I'm going to have to possess you, so it comes at a steep price for his help. And Dean and Castiel look into the angel smiting that could have killed Amara. So they're now looking for Amara. So that's the next episode. We're going to find out if she does get killed by the lightning strike or the angel strike.
Which we know she didn't.
Of course. There's no show. There's no rest of the season. Like,
over.
That's done. Oh, great job, guys.
Let's pack it up and go home.
Of course. She's going to shrug it off like nothing. But that means that Dean's not going to come to the rescue of Sam. Next episode, he's out there in the field.
Well, maybe next time Dean comes to the rescue of Sam, but Sam's already possessed and Dean doesn't know it and Lucifer's chilling with them.
That could be true. I mean, Sam is so shitting his pants when he's in that cage. You see it in his eyes. And he does that famous, where he starts moving his face and his eyes, and he's doing these really weird faces.
I wish everybody could see the face you were just making. That was amazing.
He does these weird faces. I mean, you start noticing those little nuances in their faces when they as actors.
Yeah.
And his is all these little head, moving his head, his scalp back and forth, and his eyes and ears, and he's going.
He gets like the puppy dog eyes, like the.
Oh, he has
tears coming out, like welling up in his face, preparing to crap his pants.
Nothing good is going to come up of letting the devil possess you.
Nothing good comes of any of their ideas.
How can you trust the devil?
When was the last time something good came out of any of their ideas?
And then how long has Lucifer been in that cage, and how powerful is he at this point versus darkness by himself? He couldn't take on darkness by himself.
No.
He needs God's backup, which apparently
wasn't strong enough to do it by himself, according to Lucifer. God needed Lucifer's help. But
I can't believe anything that dude says. He's spouting at the mouth. I'm like, not true. But you're gonna have to take it with a grain of salt and kind of what other option do you have at this point?
Yeah.
What other options do you have? Because if that angel strike doesn't work, which we know it's not going to work,
right?
And she's going to continue being on, what other options do you have? if all the angels in heaven could not take her out with one big old shot, and I think she was almost like in the scene accepting of the shot, like, come on, give me your best shot.
Like maybe it powers her up or something.
Maybe she does that. Maybe she's sucking up all the energy to get a little bit of a power boost. So, I mean, we're gonna have to see when it comes out next Wednesday, right?
Yeah, next Wednesday.
So next Wednesday we're gonna see what happens with them, and I've always felt like when you come back from a long break, that you get that little recap, that they kind of get you going, and you just jump right back in. That it's gonna be one of those episodes where you kind of already know what's gonna happen. I just feel like I already know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be like almost like, oh, we knew that was gonna happen. My only question is whether Sam lets the devil possess him. That's my one. I don't know. We obviously know she's gonna survive the blast.
Mm-hmm.
Does Sam say yes or no? That's my number one question, or what I'm looking forward to. Because what do you do after that, man?
I don't know.
What do you do after that? I have no idea.
I'd love to. I hope he does get possessed.
Really?
Yeah.
Because
I love
and
badass
he gets that
Sam.
and he gets that 1980s white suit that he had when he was possessed by the devil. You remember that white suit?
Yeah. I love badass Sam. Like when Sam is drinking demon blood or Sam is going, like, I love badass Sam.
Yeah, badass Sam is awesome. I hate that he lost his power of
exorcising the demons
without having to say anything.
Yeah.
And I love that. I loved when they actually gave them some powers.
Yeah.
Or some abilities rather than just being a regular guy. And I loved Dean when he was a demon.
Yeah.
Dean. I loved him. Awesome. He didn't give a fuck, and he's just going out, taking people out, taking on the devil.
Yeah.
Overpowering the devil, and then the general demon chick, the one that
Abaddon.
Oh my! He just took her apart.
Yep.
I love that. And then they always come back to like regular dudes. I hate the fact that they don't have any power ups. I watched. You ever watch Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, not really.
That show is famous for power ups. As the episodes go on, the characters get stronger and stronger and stronger. And I feel like Sam and Dean have not progressed. I feel like they could probably still get killed by a common cold. Like they'll get so messed up from a regular cold. Like these are guys hunting demons and saving the world, but yet a little common cold is gonna take them out.
They haven't progressed emotionally. They haven't progressed as a family. They haven't progressed physically with their powers. Ideas are still the dumbest thing. They keep getting themselves into these situations.
One thing that I always felt like they lacked was the idea of preparing other hunters in the future. So one of the things that their dad had was that the book, his journal,
right,
that had all the things he's learned through his time of hunting. And how many times had they had to go to refer to that book?
Well, are they still keeping track in the bunker, the men of letters? I mean, they
Hell
consider
no.
themselves men of letters.
They came
now?
in there, raided the refrigerator, took their food and their water, ransacked their library, took all their pens and pencils and probably didn't sharpen them and put them back. They've completely abused the Men of Letters building.
Because, I mean, they still go to all the Men of Letters files for their research, which, of course, is always there, because why wouldn't it be? But have they been filling in, anything for the people after?
I don't think right now they have time. There's only two of them. When I think the Men of Letters actually had a large group of people working. The dad just had his little journal, which I think was kind of what they should be doing at this point, which is like, hey, we just defeated.
This is how you kill a Leviathan.
This
is how you kill
a general of the devil's army. Like this is what you got to get. And I feel like they're not doing their due diligence and stepping up. So like.
Do more paperwork, guys.
Not more paper, not just like even just jot it down. Like write it down on a piece of paper and like we'll organize it later.
Dean would write it on the back of a fast food bag.
But you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, that's the supernatural the book.
Yeah.
The books, they have everything already written down.
Yeah,
for them.
Chuck was writing.
So yeah, I think maybe that that trumps what I'm trying to say right now. But I feel like they're just taking advantage of everything that's been given to them and not putting anything back. They just are using and abusing. And that Men of Letters place is full of stuff. And then the one thing that, because I love keeping everything organized, when Dean is or Sam is researching something and have all the books like laid out, papers everywhere, that really bothers me mentally. I'm like, organize your research, man. How are you gonna know what you read where? Like all these books scattered. And how many languages does Sam know?
I don't know, but as Sam becomes a hacker, Sam learns all these languages. But no, I knew you were an organization freak when you saw my computer desktop and had a meltdown.
I had a physical reaction. I'm not lying to you. When I saw your desktop,
yeah,
I was starting to get nauseous. I swear to you, I'm not lying. I physically started getting nauseous. The visual of it, I have a very bad equilibrium. I can't go on roller coasters. I can't go anything that spins. If I turn too fast in my car, I lose it. So when I saw your desktop, I literally got nauseous looking at your desktop. It was that bad. Horrible. I mean, I don't know if that was purposely done. If that was
I had no clue you would
some
react
sort
like
of
that.
app
on
your Mac that you do that throws all your files into like disarray like that. But it literally was sickening. I mean, I think we have to post a picture of that on like Facebook or something, because I mean, I'm sure you're not the only one. Actually, afterwards, I Googled unorganized desktops on computers. I swear to you.
No, you did not.
I swear to you. And no picture came even close to the disaster that you had on your desktop. It was a complete disaster.
Organize anything.
You have the Sam and Dean Winchester of desktops. That's what you have.
My Mac has this nice little search feature. I don't actually have to find anything. I just remember vaguely what I named the file.
We have to put it out there because that is one of the most horrible things I've ever seen.
All right,
in my entire life.
I'll tweet. We'll tweet that out.
So, where do you are you gonna have like a viewing party at your house for the show, or like it's just gonna be you and your 7 cats?
It's just gonna be me and my cats. Yeah, yeah.
I have 1 dog, and that is enough for me. So if did Dean ever get a dog when he had his little life?
Didn't Dean switch personalities with the dog?
Did he?
I don't know. There's something. Remember that him and that German Shepherd?
Oh, I think it was a German Shepherd that could talk.
Yeah. Oh, he could read the dog's mind. That's what it was. He could read the dog's mind or hear what the dog was thinking. That was right. Okay.
I can't wait for next week. We started the podcast.
Yay! Started the podcast.
Yes, that was a big thing for both of us. We're both
We
huge.
apologize. This is a really shitty podcast so far.
Yes. We were somewhat organized, and we went off on our little tangents, but I think we did a good job for episode number 1. I can't wait to see the episode next week, and we'll recap what we saw.
Yeah.
And I just want to say thank you for taking the time, and that we're gonna do this, and we're gonna. We love Supernatural. We're going to have a great time talking about it. And
we're going to come out every week, every Thursday. You know, the episodes air on Wednesday nights. So every Thursday we will have a new podcast episode where we talk about the episode that was on. And we'll recap and do theories and questions and spoilers and all that good stuff.
And now we insert the outro music.
Dun, dun, dun. We actually don't have outro music for this episode, Eric. Imagine your own outro music here.
All right, I have nothing else. I'm done.
Okay, cool.